summer fast approaching, families about to spend a lot more time outside, and with it, especially this year, comes the threat of ticks. Many of you with a lot of questions about the tick threat this morning as you've been starting to get out and seeing a lot more of them you've been reporting. Joined now with a person who has the answers for us, Rachel Clinton, an epidemiologist. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, is it our imagination or is this year actually worse when it comes to ticks? Are we seeing more of them?
Yeah, so increasing each year because we have more mild winters, we are tending to see each year that we do have more and more tick-borne cases of illness each year. So that is a trend with the more mild
So
winters.
it is actually, we are seeing more of them. So it's just the fact that the winters haven't been as cold?
Exactly, yeah. So the populations are most active from May till into the fall, but what we're typically finding now is that even through the winter months as well, that they tend to be active.
So people, you're seeing people that have illnesses from ticks, or they're reporting tick cases even in the winter now?
Yes. And that's been a long trend for a long time, but it does continue to increase, especially with the more common diseases we see here, Rocky Mountain, tularemia, or ehrlichiosis. Those case counts do continue to climb each year. So.
Yeah, I wanted to jump into those in a sec because there were some, I thought I knew about these, but there were some I'd never even heard of that I didn't realize you could get. So as we head now into spring and summer, more people get outside. Is this the time when you see the most cases?
Yeah, the most active time we'll start to see cases is from May till the end of the summer, so really through like September, October.
Okay.
That's typically our highest risk season, just because the ticks themselves are actually more active with the warmer temperatures.
Now around here, our most common illness that people get is Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Is that the one most associated with people or cases here in Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma, we have some of the highest incident rates of Rocky Mountain spotted fever, so that's the most common, and it is a really serious one because it can be deadly. Now, most of the time if people seek treatment soon, after they have symptoms, it's very treatable, but that is our most common across the state of Oklahoma.
But then there are ones I've never heard of that I'd love you to tell us about. The Southern Tick-Associated Rash Illness. What's that one?
So that one's not as common in Oklahoma, but so essentially it sort of has a similar presentation to Lyme disease, although we truly don't have Lyme disease in Oklahoma, but Starry, it's a very similar clinical presentation, so a rash and things that can present after a tick bite. Other than that, the symptoms are pretty similar to other tick-borne illnesses, fever, headaches, body aches, things like that.
Then there's I don't want to get this wrong.
Bourbon virus.
It is, okay. And then also the Heartland virus. What are those ones?
So those are some of the newer ones that have came in the last 5 to 10 years. They're not as common here.
I've never heard of these guys.
Yeah, but it's important to understand ticks can carry both bacterial pathogens and viruses. So those are some of the newer ones. They're not very common, but they have been identified, and they can be associated with a more severe illness. And
then there's the one that we're just really hearing about this year in a major way, and that's the Powassan.
Yes, Powassan virus. So fortunately, that's not a concern here in Oklahoma right now. Now, if people are going to travel to sort of Minnesota area, Great Lakes area, definitely would want to take precautions.
Now, why is that one getting so much more attention?
That one, it can be a little bit more severe. So for most people that are infected with Powassan, they have similar symptoms. You know, either they are asymptomatic or the symptoms are pretty mild. But unfortunately, with the Powassan virus, it can sometimes cause a brain swelling. And so in those rare situations where that occurs, it can be very, of course, life-threatening.
Sure. So yeah. I had basically only heard of two. I had heard of Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. So then when I saw this whole list of other ones, how do you know what to look out for as just a regular person going out and enjoying the outdoors? How do you know what to look out for in terms of symptoms to try to figure out what you may have? Yeah,
that's a really great question. So what we would recommend is, especially if you're spending time outside or especially if you have a tick bite, if you develop so typically with tick-borne illness, it's going to be an acute onset. So it's going to be noticeable that you're becoming sick. You're going to have a fever. A lot of people report muscle aches, chills, headaches, sore throat, those type of symptoms. So at that point, definitely go in and let your doctor know you've recently been in an area of exposure or had a tick bite. And they have blood tests that are very effective to sort of screen through. It's really hard to tell by looking at someone exactly which one they have. So the blood tests sort of guide diagnosis. And then, of course, the treatment is tailored depending on which pathogen that you may have.
So for all of these, though, there is a blood test and there's also a treatment for all of them?
And there are blood tests for Rocky Mountain spotted fever, ehrlichiosis, tularemia. Those are the most common. So we do have blood tests for those in treatment. Some of the viruses like the Powassan, Heartland, and Bourbon, those are a little bit more specialized. But if there's a concern for that, essentially the State Health Department, we would conduct testing with CDC on those.
It's going to be hard to tell initially as a person, with these symptoms because it sounds like so many other things. It could sound like the flu or like allergies or a cold. How do you tell people to try to notice the difference?
Yeah, it can be a real challenge, and so sometimes that's why patients sort of delay care a little bit because, especially with children. So it's a really tough it's a sort of a tough call. So, but typically I would say if those symptoms don't resolve within a short amount of time, within 24 hours, just definitely let your doctor know what you're having. And that way because there's other types of blood tests they can do too, just to kind of find out if it's a viral or bacterial infection, to sort of guide whether or not they need to do additional testing.
Okay, key here would obviously be prevention then.
Yeah.
The first 24 hours seem to be critical when it comes to ticks, right?
Yeah, so prevention, so one key thing is the sooner that you're able to get a tick off. So doing daily tick checks is one of the most important things that people can do. And for people that spend a lot of time outdoors, doing those tick checks twice a day is really important, because we know that the longer a tick is attached, the higher that risk is that they're transmitting. So basically the bacteria or virus can enter the body during the feeding cycle. So it's really important for people, adults and children, to do daily tick checks, making sure especially to check the hairline and skin folds, because we tend to find too with children a lot of times that gets missed. So even if you have a tick on you, the risk would be lower if you remove it. And then also using an insect repellent. And there's a lot of options now. There's DEET, which has been the most studied, and we know is one of those that's very effective, but a lot of people don't like it for different reasons, so it can be a little strong. So there's also IR 3535 and picaridin. So and then there's also permethrin to treat gear if you're going to be outside. So there's a lot of options, and a lot of that information we have on the website.
Okay, and then also you want to make sure you're checking the pets too. They can bring them indoors often?
Absolutely. That's one aspect that people forget about, is so make sure with your veterinarian that your pets are up to date on their flea and tick, because often that is what happens, is that we may be taking precautions, but the pets are bringing them into the home and exposing us that way.
Okay,
so, yeah, really
so it
great
could
point.
be a busy season. Rachel Clinton, really appreciate all the insights. This was great. Thank you.